Hello and good afternoon. Ako po si Dr. Ana York Bondoc. I am a pulmonary and intensive care specialist. So please follow us po on YouTube and Facebook. Nagpaparami po sana kami ng mga nanonood. Please like and subscribe. And today we will pick up po all the questions that we have received during the week and answer them. So please put your questions below and sasagutin po namin. But the most important po, I just like to let you know na we are just answering po yung mga questions nyo po in general. Hindi po siya personal na pakikipag-usap sa doktor. I am just answering the questions in general para po may ideya naman po kayo ng konti. But again, my best advice for everyone who sent a question is to consult po with your personal doctor. Kasi iba ho talaga yung nakipag-konsultasyon na matagalan para malaman po nila ang inyong history, physical exam, and to give you the best advice. Pero para may start lang po and so that maybe we could give you a general idea of what to ask your doctor, let's start na po.
Good day, Doctor. Pwede po ba magtanong, nakakahawa po ba ang chronic bronchitis? Salamat po.
Ma'am, COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease consists of two elements. The first po is emphysema and the second po is chronic bronchitis. So ito po yung that most of them are smoking related. As a rule, they do not occur with people who have not smoked. And usually, ito po ang nagiging end stage po ng cigarette smoking. Ito po yung nagiging resulta po. So chronic bronchitis, like emphysema po, are smoking-related lung diseases. Hindi po sila nakakahawa. You cannot get chronic bronchitis from your, halimbawa, tatay nyo or yung husband nyo po smoke a lot and develop either emphysema or chronic bronchitis. And kuminsan po, they overlap. Hindi po kayo magkakaroon nun. Ang nakakahawa po, sometimes people with chronic lung diseases do develop po frequent upper respiratory and lower respiratory tract infections. Yun po yung nakakahawa. Okay? So, wait lang, gusto ko lang iklaro. People with chronic bronchitis and emphysema, some of them, they have what they call the smoker's cough. So, hindi po talaga nakakahawa yon. But, people with chronic lung diseases are prone po to have respiratory infections. Okay? Thank you so much po. So, if you don't want to get these, stop smoking.
From Ms. Shane Andalio, hello po, Doktora.
Hello. Sorry, I was waiting for the question.
Yeah, wala po siya. Nagpapa-shoutout lang po.
Okay.
From viewer, gusto po sanang manghingi ng magandang inuming vitamins para po sa mahina ang baga or pangpataba.
Ma'am, usually, my question to you is, yung mahina ng baga kasi, the reason that I ask this is, most Filipinos use the word mahina ang baga or what to denote TB eh. So my question is, may TB po ba kayo o wala? Okay? And the second question, pampataba. People with TB often lose weight kasi nga po it's a chronic and debilitating disease. So my best advice, if you do, hindi ko sinabing may TB, nagtatanong lang ako kasi nakaka-offend sa ibang tao po ito. So kung meron po kayong TB, the best thing to do po is to have your tuberculosis checked and treated. Libre po ang gamutan nito sa gobyerno. If on the other hand, wala naman po kayong TB and you just want to ask about vitamins, one multivitamin po a day is okay. Sorry, meron pong nagkakayak sa likod ko yung anak ko at bumabate. Hi! So yun po, no? If you have tuberculosis, the best thing to do is to get treated and to eat properly. But again, if you want, wala naman pong masama sa one multivitamin a day. Thanks so much po.
Ma'am, HBsAg positive po ako. May gamot po ba ito?
Well, I am not a gastroenterologist and I cannot pretend to be. My best advice, Dr. Janus Ong, the Medical City, one of the best po sa Pilipinas. There's going to be a long workup po for HBs antigen positive, whether you should be treated or not. Because not all should be treated. Pero may There is a procedure and a number of tests that you need to do. Hindi po ako GI, so I'll leave it to Dr. Janus po. By the way, if you're HBS antigen positive, join the Yellow Warriors. They are a very good advocacy group and I highly recommend them.
From, Hi Doc, good afternoon po. Gusto ko sanang magtanong kung pwede po bang magpabakuna kung meron po akong active hepatitis B. Last check-up ko po is noong April 2018 pa po, tas hindi na po ako nakapagpa-check up ulit. Anong dapat kong gawin, Doc? Salamat po and God bless po.
Thanks for this very interesting question. Marami po talagang similar cases. My best advice to you, since 2018 pa po yung huling check-up nyo, why don't you see your your doctor? Alamin mo kung ano yung status ng hepatitis mo, what's happening, no? And then after that, kung okay naman sa yung check-up mo, and this can be done via telemedicine, by the way, you can get vaccinated. In fact, it is recommended po na yung mga may active hepatitis, because it puts them po as, nakalista po yan na comorbids o may ibang sakit, at kung ma-COVID po ay magiging mas serious, hepatitis cases po should be vaccinated. Pero para sa inyo, ang advice ko sa inyo, magpatingin din po kasi matagal na rin. Okay?
Good afternoon, Dr. Ana. Tanong ko lang po. Pag naoperahan na po ba yung tao, medyo hirap na sa pagtulog. Salamat po, Doc, and God bless.
Well, it depends po kung saan kayo, well, no, actually, there is no relationship between being operated on po and not being able to sleep. Wala pong relasyon in general, okay? Wala naman pong relasyon in general. Unless, of course, naoperahan kayo ng cancer and then hindi natanggal lahat ng cancer, so ngayon nininervous kayo. Pero mahabang kwento na yon. Pero in general po, in general, there is no relationship between sleeping and being operated upon.
Okay, next po. Hi Doc, good afternoon. Magtatanong lang sana ako kahapon po. Yung second dose ko, tapos balak ko pong umuwi ng probinsya. Ilang araw dapat magpa-swab test kung bago pa lang nabakunahan?
Wait lang ha. First of all, do you need to fly? Is that why you need to be swabbed? Kasi you can just ride a bus ngayon eh. And so I guess it depends kung anong province po kayo. If you need to fly, then maybe you need to be swabbed. Naintindihan ko po yon. You can be swabbed po like 1 hour. Kumbaga, there is no relationship between being vaccinated and being swabbed. You can be swabbed po 5 minutes after you were vaccinated. Wala pong connectment yon. So you can be swabbed at any time po after you were vaccinated. Sandali Being vaccinated also does not affect the results of your swab. Your swab will tell you kung kayo po ay na-expose or your swab will tell you if you have active COVID at that moment. Yun lang po. Wala po siyang relasyon sa inyong pagkabakuna. Okay, so don't worry about it. Get yourself swabbed if you need to ride a plane to go home to the province. Or if there is a requirement po. Pero parang alam ko wala eh. At saka, what I know also is that people who are fully vaccinated, 2 doses, may advisory na po, but again, it varies from province to province. Pero may advisory po that you do not need any more testing to travel locally.
Okay. Gandang hapon po, Doktora. Pwede na po bang magpa-vaccine ang 18 years old po?
18 years old po and above are okay po to be vaccinated. So my answer would be yes.
Okay. From Ms. Rosemary Tolentino Silvestre, good day po, Doktor. Ano po pwedeng inuming gamot after magpa-COVID vaccine?
Wala pong dapat inuming gamot after magpa-COVID vaccine. Just rest and relax yourself at home. Ngayon, kung kayo po ay nilagnat, you may drink 1 paracetamol. Pero wala pong dapat na inumin na gamot. The vaccine alone is okay. Just rest, relax, eat well. You can do your normal stuff po. So, yun lang po.
Hello po, Doktora. Ask ko lang po, ilang weeks po ba bago manumbalik ang sense of taste at smell po? Nawalan po kasi pang 3 days na po.
Ma'am, this is really one of the best questions. And people do ask this kasi it varies po. Ang sagot ko po dalawa, no? Number one, it varies from person to person. Kahit dalawa po kayo, like say, you and your sister, no? Sabihin lang natin, nag-positive, nawala ng ano, I cannot tell you kung mauuna si sister na babalik, kung ikaw or what. So, iba-iba ho kahit magkapatid po kayo, you had COVID at the same time, nasa loob po kayo ng parehong bahay, you ate the same food, iba-iba po yung mangyayari. And we cannot tell po kung sino yung mauuna, kung sino yung matatagalan. Wala pa pong datos dyan. What I can normally tell you is, and reassure you, that majority naman po ng mga tao, once they recover from COVID, nanunumbalik din naman po yung kanila pong panlasa at saka pang-amoy. Ngayon, there are few people, there's an ENT talk on this po na I interviewed Dr. Philip Puliante. There's a certain group of people and we do not know kung sino ang mahuhulog doon na matatagalan po. These people should visit po an ENT and discuss further po what needs to be done. Pero wag po kayo mag-alala. Majority of people will recover their sense of smell and taste as soon as they recover po from their COVID infection. Thank you for that very interesting question.
You're right with that, Doktora. Yes, based on ano.
Diba? Iba't iba yung ano sa mga nakasama mo, Reyna.
Yes, with my dad, it came siguro after niyang lagnatin, etc. Siguro after a week. And take note, my dad is a lot of comorbidities plus.
Tsaka senior na rin si daddy, di ba?
Well, the doctor just only told us na pwedeng bumalik yan ng mas mabilis, depende kung paano ka nagpapahinga. So, nagpahinga
Tama rin naman yun. Yeah, I would really suggest resting.
Yeah. So, nag-rest lang. Sinunod ng daddy ko na mag-rest lang siya ng mag-rest. Bumalik naman. So, I think it has something to do with your rest, yung pagtulog mo talaga.
Actually, no. Nobody knows. Pwedeng halimbawa, yung kapatid mo tsaka yung daddy mo, parehong 8 hours a day natutulog. They will not recover their sense of smell and taste on the same day. Iba talaga. And the second thing is, we cannot, halimbawa, may dalawa kaming pasyente doon sa harap namin. Masasabi ba namin kung sino mauna at sino mahuhuli? Hindi. There is not enough data. Wala pa.
Yeah,
pero I'm sure that will move forward. Yeah, but day 3 ka pa lang, malamang babalik yan. Okay, relax lang.
Wala, oo. Pero I think the doctor is just telling us na you need a lot of rest.
Oo naman. I totally agree with that. Tama naman.
Yes, okay. Next question po. Ay, nako, Miss Kat, mukhang ikaw ang kailangan magbasa nito.
Okay po. Doc, pa-check po mag-self-quarantine. Nano po yung masantinggawan? Salamat po.
Mag-Netflix. What I could suggest is, are you asking me, like, parang hindi ko mag-gets eh. Ito na lang, I'll just answer the mental, I'll just answer na lang the mental. Once you've been self-quarantine talaga, it can be totally boring, lalo na kung wala kang simptomas. So my best advice for you is, wag mong labanan yung quarantine mo. Accept it. And then after that, move forward. So anong meaning nun? Maybe take it as a time to rest. Baka naman sobrang busy ka na rin. To relax. To spend time, halimbawa lahat kayo na quarantine, well, you can think of it as family time din naman, And then, eat healthy. Kung kaya mo mag-exercise, please do so. If you'd like to pray and renew your relationship with the Lord, maganda rin po yun. Halimbawa, you haven't kept up with your friends, ganon. Wala naman pong masama to keep in touch with people para you remain mentally strong during your self-quarantine. Okay? So I hope I answered the question. I'm not so sure kung yun yung gusto nyong itanong. Kung meron pa, just please add. Okay? Pero yun lang yung tips ko po for staying mentally yung positive kasi nakaka-depress din po yung self-quarantine. But if you accept it and siguro, what's wrong naman with 2 weeks of thinking about, yung magmuni-muni muna tungkol sa inyong buhay. Wala naman pong masama doon. Exercise and stay positive. Okay?
Nako, iba ang natuturo ng COVID, doktora. Ibang-iba.
Yun.
Okay, next. Doc, if na-vaccine po ng flu shot, ilang days or weeks po papalipasin para pwede na pong magpa-vaccine for COVID? Thanks po.
Usually people get vaccinated for COVID first and then they get the flu shot. Pero I guess the question is flu shot muna then COVID. Ang problema kasi sa Pilipinas, for example, nabakunahan ka ng flu kasi napakatagal ng LG yung tumawag, okay? Then biglang tumawag yung LGU. Let's say 3 days after. Normally, I would say 2 weeks. Pero with the condition po dito sa Pilipinas, na baka halimbawa, you tell the LGU, I'm sorry, no, I don't wanna take this slot. Baka kung kailan ka patawagin. So my best advice is few days siguro, halimbawa nagpa-flu vaccine ka, biglang tumawag po si LGU. Ang advice ko sa'yo, kunin mo yun ng slot na yun eh. As long as wala ka namang naramdaman sa flu, you felt okay, maybe it's been like 2 days or what, kunin mo na kasi baka may mangyari pa. I mean, while you are waiting for your next slot. Okay? So normally, I would advise 2 weeks. But if the LGU is already calling at talagang pahirapan na po na slots, kunin mo na. Okay?
Okay. Another question. Hello, Doc. Magtatanong lang po sana ako kung anong magandang gamot sa Makati ang lalamunan. Hindi po kasi nawawala ang kati ng lalamunan ko. Inuubo po ako 1 week na po. Ano pong pwede kong igamot? Sana po mapansin niyo ako. Salamat.
I'm sorry to inform this viewer that hindi po gamot ang isasuggest ko sa iyo. Ang isasuggest ko sa iyo is to isolate yourself po. Kasi sa panahon po ngayon, anyone na inuubo, kinakatipuan lalamunan, baka slight fever, dapat po rule out COVID muna. So before I tell you na, hindi, wala, maggamot ka lang, drink fluids, ang masasabi ko talaga, isolate po talaga. Isolate. And just stay there for 14 days. Kung COVID yon, at least na-isolate ka. Kung hindi man COVID, at least wala ka nang hinawaan ibang tao. Okay, so I'm not one to be giving gamots for what we call trangkaso na ngayon na bigla na lang palang COVID na pala. So my best advice to you is, lalo na kung marami na kayong nasa bahay na nahahawa-hawaan, hindi na po trangkaso lang po yan. That really might be a case of COVID and that you guys need to be isolated. I'm really sorry. Maraming nabibigla po sa statement na ito, pero talagang sa mga panahon po ngayon, napakarami na po talaga na akala ko trangkaso and the next thing you know, wala nang panlasa at pang-amoy. So ako talaga right now, no, whether cold, whether flu, whether COVID, isolate na lang po muna for everybody's safety. Okay? Pasyensya na po.
From Ms. Jessica Tupas, Dr. Anna, Philippines is now considering for a booster shot. What's your insight po regarding this? With the current surge now, please need ng urgent dental service po. Pero nakakatakot din po kahit fully vax na po. How to weigh these things po? I think she has a several question, Doc.
Oo nga. Siguro the booster muna, Ma'am Jessica. I think you're asking 2 questions. Tama ba ako? Boosters and dental service. Okay?
Yes,
With
po.
regards po to the booster shot, no? The vaccine is meant to protect us po from severe COVID, from hospitalization, and from dying. Ngayon po, sa loob po ng Philippine General Hospital, naglabas lang po sila ng datos po eh. Talagang majority po na naka-ospital ay walang bakuna. Yung critical, talagang, excuse me, wala rin pong bakuna. Yung nakatubo or intubated, lahat po hindi bakunado. So basically, napaka-protective po talaga as of now pa rin po ang mga bakuna. So right now in the Philippines, we are not advocating po booster doses. Hintayin na lang po muna natin ang ating pong gobyerno and scientists to educate us further if this is needed. Please do not booster dose yourself kasi pag may nangyari po sa inyo, kayo po ang may sagutin doon. Okay? So right now in the Philippines, not yet recommended. Will it happen in the future or I don't know. Let's just wait. Okay? Number 2 question. Kung talaga pong grabe na po yung ngipin nyo, you really need to go to the dentist. May na-interview po akong dentist who is Dr. Rochelle Javier. She's the president po of the UP Dental Alumni Association. Talagang winalk through niya po ako regarding the safety procedures po. Marami pong safety procedures ang bawat dentista ngayon bago sila bumukas. And then secondly, when I went to the dentist, share ko na lang po yung akin, si Benji nagpa-dentist, ako rin po. Yung sa dentist ko po, binuksan po nila yung bintana. Actually, my dentist was located in a high-rise. Sabi nga nila, Doktora, we're so lucky na our high-rise allows us to open the windows. So nakabukas po yung bintana nila. They also have good HEPA filters and electric fans. So based on that po, nagpa-dentist na po ako. Tsaka siguro, another thing that you can do po is to inquire kung bakunado na po si dentist at yung kanya pong dental assistant. Kung bakunado naman po, I think wala naman po talagang, hindi po tayo abot sa 100%. But I would say po, it is reasonable, lalo na po kung kailangan to go to the dentist. Okay? Ay, eto lang po, Ma'am, Jessica. Yung husband ko rin po nagpa-dentist, no? Ako rin po. The dentist charge po extra for the PPEs. Okay naman po sa amin nagbayad. So ask muna your dentist po kung may extra charge para hindi naman po kayo mabulaga. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, from Miss Arlene Esquivel. Doktora, safe na po ba kung natapos na ang 14 days quarantine na nag-COVID positive pero malimit pa din umubo lalo na po sa gabi? Ayan, Doc, magandang question to.
Yes, this is very good question and this happened to my cousin's employees. Tumawag po sila sa akin, sabi 14 days na daw. Sabi ko, ito lang 14 days or 3 days na wala na pong simptomas. Or 14 days and dapat 3 days na pong walang lagnat, ubo o nararamdaman. So kahit po kayo nag 14 days na po, kung meron pong nararamdaman pa po yung pasyente, you need to remain in the quarantine until 3 days na po na okay na po yung pakiramdam nyo. Okay? So the person or that person na tinatanong po natin has to remain in the quarantine. Yung empleyado po ng cousin ko stayed 19 days po sa kanyang quarantine dahil inuubo pa rin po. Okay? So, yun lang. Parang mahaba ito Kinabahan ako. Okay, go.
Yes, Doc. I would have to agree with your with your suggestion sa tanong po kanina. Yun din po yung sinabi sa amin. Next po. Sam Gablek Andosikat. Sana na pronounce ko yung name mo correctly.
Oo, pasensya na po. Opo.
Mag-second dose na po ako sa 14. Tomorrow na po siya. I'm just worried lang po kasi feeling ko after 1 week, ang side effect sa akin is nabalisa po ako at parang sinasakal na may palpitation. Lalo na po pag nakahiga ako at nagigising sa pagtulog na tila ninenervyos pero kalmado na po, minsan meron pa rin. Sabi ng doktor, itigil ko na daw po ang mga gamot ko tulad ng metformin at atribastin. 40 ml, baka ito yung reason ng mga concern ko. Normal na daw po kasi sugar ko at clear naman po si thyroid ko. Nagpa-TVS kasi ako gawa ng parang may nakasaksak. Mukhang mahaba to, doktora. So, naputol dito. I think she's saying na nagpa-TVS po siya at normal.
What's TVS?
TVS, baka yung sa thyroid to, doktora. Yung sa thyroid test.
Baka TSH.
Malamang. So,
walang TVS
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, we can't answer the question po, no? It's very complicated. At saka po, parang I cannot understand po some of the, pagpasensyahan niyo na po. My best advice to you, no? May doktor po kayo. Parang in communication naman po kayo with your doctor, okay? So, ang advice ko po sa inyo, magpa-clear muna kayo kay doc. Kasi, bakit ako yung tatanungin nyo? I do not know your history, your fee, tsaka po yung gamots nyo, okay? My best advice, get, today, the day before your second dose, mag-usap po kayong mabuti ng doktor nyo, and then, ma-reassure din po kayo whether or not that you should go through, okay? Kasi po, it is okay to ask questions, pero the best po talaga yung sarili niyo pong doktor. Dahil syempre, alam niya po yung history niyo, ano iniinom niyo, ano pong nangyari sa inyo. Yung sa akin po, biglaan lang po tayong magkakakilala. So really, the best advice po, at parang okay naman yung sinasabi ng doktor niyo, balikan niyo po yun before the second dose. Okay? Pasyensya na po, but really, I think that's the best for you. Ikaw, Reyna, what do you think?
Ako, Doc, dun sa, kasi parang dalawa yung concern niya no? First concern niya, sa naintindihan ko sa question niya is, yung concern niya regarding the effects of the vaccine. Usually, guys, ang vaccine hindi naman siya talaga kumbaga hindi siya dapat nakakatakot. And kung meron man siyang side effect, hindi ito yung kailangan maging alarming sa atin or kailangan nating magpatingin na sa ospital or magpadala sa ospital. These are normal reaction ng katawan natin, just like, isipin nyo na lang, yung mga bata nga na newborn, doktora, di ba, pinapavaccine yan every month halos. Isipin nyo na lang sila, na ang liit-liit ng katawan, madaming nararamdaman pagkatapos vinaksin. Tayo, takot na takot, ang lalaki na natin. So,
True naman.
Wag niyong ikatakot yung vaccine. Based on my experience and times 11 po, hindi lang po kami 10. Times 11 po na naka-experience, mas nakakatakot ang COVID versus sa side
Yun
effect.
pala. Ako, the reason I didn't go into the question, ang daming possibilities eh. And ang hirap naman to be dropping words na hindi ko man alam talaga yung history. Best advice, kay Doc ka magtanong. May doktor ka.
Yes. Agree din ako doon, Doc. Agree. Okay, next po. From Ms. Rosel Aleso. Hello po, Doc. Ask ko lang po kung ano po ang best vitamins na ibigay sa isang teenager. Yung PWD niya, inumin para magkaroon ng magandang tulog. Sorry, Doc. Ulitin ko yung question. Hello po,
hindi ko
Doc.
nga mag-gets eh.
Ask ko lang po kung anong best vitamins na ibigay sa isang teenager yung pwede niyang inumin para magkaroon ng magandang tulog. Hindi nagtutulog si teenager.
Baka naman nung nag-gaming, walang bitamina kung makakatulong dun.
Natawa ako dun, Doc. Tama naman.
Diba? Baka naman is this a girl or a boy? Baka naman may boyfriend or girlfriend na mini-message sa gitna ng gabi. We're talking about teenagers here, guys, okay? Sanaksakan mo na vitamin C. Yun pala, may girlfriend or may boyfriend. The vitamin C.
Tama, Doc.
Natawa tuloy ako eh. Hindi, ito, serious answer po, no? I think the best thing to do po with your teenager, and it's really a difficult, instead of laughing or what, it is a difficult time po for parents of teenagers. Siguro po, my best advice to you is have a good talk po with your teenager. Ano bang ginagawa niya sa gabi? Baka hindi nyo alam, they might be gaming, they might be doing a lot of things. Kumpiskahin nyo po yung cellphone would be my best and first number one advice. At 8 o'clock po, everybody's gadget should be turned off. And that includes the parents. Kasi the parents are the number one offenders. Okay? So all gadgets after that turn off. And tingnan po natin kung mag-i-improve po yung tulog. Hindi lang po ng teenager, but maybe kay mommy and daddy also. Vitamins, 1 multivitamin a day would be okay. Pero kung kumakain naman ng mabuti yung bata, there's really no absolute need. Pero if you want to have 1 vitamin, wala naman pong masama. But for teenagers po, the best advice ko po sa inyo is to find out why they cannot sleep. Ayan po.
Yes, agree, Doc. And if you cannot find any reason, punta po kayo sa doktor because I have experience na yung mga teenager minsan kaya hindi natutulog. Kulang pala sa dugo, ganyan. So, pa-check up nyo din po.
Wala naman masama doon.
From Ms. Del Gamboa Mendoza, hello po, Doc. Nagtitake po ng ferrous sulfate yung anak ko. Ngayon po, paggabi, namamanhid po yung mga kamay niya at saka back pain po. Ano po pwedeng inumin? Thank you. And after po, pwede na po ba siyang magpa-vaccines for first shot?
Wait, mama, kulang po yung tanong nyo eh. Why is the person taking ferrous sulfate? I cannot answer that po eh. Is she pregnant? Ganun ba? If she's pregnant and she's taking ferrous sulfate, yes, the pregnant persons po can be vaccinated na po ngayon. Please consult your OB-GYN po ng inyong anak. Okay? I also, kulang po yung ano eh, this is the difficulty. Another good question, this person diabetic. Kasi po yung namamanhid is very, very common for diabetics. So I'm sorry, I cannot give the proper answer because kulang po talaga yung informations. And ito po talaga yung limitations po ng Q&A.
Okay, next.
But if the person is taking ferrous sulfate because that person is pregnant, I would highly suggest po a conversation with the OB to discuss po kung pwede na pong mabakunahan po yung buntis. Kasi po, it is now highly recommended.
Okay, from Mr. Marlon Raya. Hi, Doktora. Ask ko lang po. Posible po bang bumabalik yung TTB kahit gumaling ka na po before? Thank you.
Posibleng posible. Unfortunately, even though we have taken 6 months of medication for tuberculosis and are considered cured, you are never fully cured from tuberculosis. Mahirap man isipin, okay? There will be bits and pieces of tuberculous material left in your body. Talagang they will live. Okay, yan ang nakakatakot sa TB. And for example po, during a time po na bumaba po yung immunity nyo, which may include during times of cancer chemotherapy. Some people, when they have diabetes, mataas po yung kanilang sugar. Some people may undergo a major OR or become pregnant. Pwede pong bumalik ang pulmonary tuberculosis. And this will most likely manifest po in the apices of the lung where the TB bacilli will hide for years.
Ayan po. From Ms. Nelly Dial Villapando. Doktora, tanong ko lang po, kung 3 weeks po ba bago second dose vaccine nilagnat ka, pwede po ba nun mag-vaccine?
You cannot po be vaccinated for the second dose kung meron po kayo lagnat o nararamdaman. Let's say on the day na may tumawag po sa inyo, nilagnat po kayo, you cannot be vaccinated. In fact, you may need to be isolated kasi baka may COVID kayo. What to do? Patapusin na lang po muna yung isolation and then have the second dose. Okay? Hindi po pwedeng pumunta sa second dose na may nararamdaman pong hindi maganda.
Okay, from Ms. Arlene O. Prio. Hi, Doc. Nagka-pneumonia po yung asawa ko. May mga gamot na po, negative sa swab, may problema sa ECG po niya. Di naman kami makapag-check up face-to-face. Ano po ang gagawin ko po? Thanks po.
Telemedicine, ma'am. That's my best advice. At saka po, sino yung nagbigay po ng mga gamot? Balikan niyo po yun. And I would like to say this, okay? Just because someone is swab negative does not mean that that person does not have COVID. Malaking bagay po yan. If a person is highly suspicious po for COVID, inuubo, linalagnat, wala na pong panlasa o pang-amoy, even though that person is swab negative, that person should still be observed and possibly treated po for COVID. Kasi baka po wrong timing po yung swab. Okay? So my best advice po sa inyo at sa inyong asawa is to have a telemedicine consult po with your doctor.
Okay. Next po. From Ms. Lorraine Yambao. Pwede po ba ang magpakonsulta pwede po ba ang mental consulta or mental consultation?
Pwede naman po. Ang dami pong nagte-telemedicine na mga psychiatrist po ngayon. Yes, you can do that. In fact, psychiatry is uniquely suited to telemedicine. Maganda po ang telemed psych. I would suggest po, ma'am, kung talagang may nararamdaman po kayo at iba na po, no? Please proceed with psych telemedicine. Magandang ideya po yan.
From Ms. Maribel Tangan Taglukop, if nag-positive po ng COVID, then after a week nag-okay na ang pakiramdam, then nag-antigen test at negative po ang result. When po dapat or ilang days po dapat magpa-swab ng RT-PCR test?
Hindi po dapat magpa-swab ng RT-PCR test. Sorry, I do not understand this question. Na-swab ba siya the first time? Why would she have herself swab the second time? Is it after the quarantine? Hindi ko po ma-gets yung tanong.
So, I guess, Doc, ang sabi niya dito is, if nag-positive po ng COVID, then after
so na-swab.
Yes. Then after a
Okay,
week,
so na-quarantine.
yes. Then after a week of swabbing, nag-okay ng pakiramdam. Then nag-antigen test, negative na
Bakit
po.
siya nagpa-antigen test? Wala
Hindi-
naman siya sa 14 days.
Opo. Exactly. So can you just, Doc, para lang po sa kaalaman ng lahat,
Ganito na lang, okay? Ganito na lang, okay? Siguro ganito na lang is my best advice. Kasi may timing ho na, no? Do not just do rapid kung ano-anong test, kung ano-anong day. Please don't do that kasi mas lalo pong gugulo yung sitwasyon. Okay? Ito po, after you have finished, let's say, na-isolate kayo. Okay? Na-expose. Let's say na-swab ka. Or kahit hindi ka na-swab. Okay? Basta nakatapos ka ng 14 days quarantine. Okay? Ang tanong, dapat ka pa bang ma-swab after the 14 days? Ang sagot, hindi. There's no need. And kung wala ka nang nararamdaman after 3 days, and you have done the 14 days quarantine po, you may leave without another test. Okay? So yun na lang po. Stop doing kung ano-ano pong test because mas lalo pong magkakagulo. You just need a test in the beginning, and actually you don't need a test in the beginning. You can test yourself in the beginning of the process po, and at the end, no need na po. Okay?
Doc,
Pasensya na po, hindi ko po naintindihan talaga yung timeline ni ma'am at bakit po nangyari lahat yon. But as a general rule, after 14 days, you may leave your quarantine without another test.
Doc, ako I have a follow-up personal question. Up to when mo masasabing contagious pa rin yung nag 14 day na naka-isolate or nag-quarantine or nag-positive?
Actually, in the UK, people are released after day 9 or day 10. Sa Philippines, we are just so cautious na day 14 pa tayo.
I see. So
pag-isipan niyo yon. In the UK, people are released after 9 to 10 days. Sa Pilipinas, napaka-maingat pa natin, ginagawa pa natin 14 days.
Okay. Ayun, malinaw na. From Miss Love Yourself, bakit meron
Ito lang don't try to escape from your quarantine after 9 days after telling the barangay, bakit sa UK 9 days? Okay, hindi ganon. Let's follow the Philippine rules. Kumbaga, mas maingat pa po ang Pilipinas. Okay? And I like that. Sige po.
Okay, from Miss Georgem Punsalan, Doktora Congresswoman, nag-negative po dati last August 25. Then September 9, nag-positive yung hipag ko. Pero walang sign kahit ano. Pwede po ba siyang magpa-vaccine ng COVID vaccine?
Sandali. Bakit dalawa yung tanong?
Ulitin ko. Miss Kat, from Miss Georgem Punsalan, Doktora Congresswoman, nag-negative po dati ng last August 25. Then September 9, nag-positive yung hipag ko. Pero walang...
Wait. Bakit siya na-test noong 25? And bakit siya na-test uli ng September 9? Natapos na ba yung quarantine on the 25th of August?
Ayun po, Doc.
Hindi, ganito na lang, okay? Since, ganito na lang po, no? Some people, eto lang how come some people test positive after negative na sila na matagal? Okay? Yun na lang. Okay? Like for example, si Senator Mig Zubiri po, tested positive during the first kasagsagan po ng COVID. And then later on, mga months after, naging positive siya. Does that mean that Senator Zubiri got sick 2 times? No. that usually when we pick up po a positive PCR on someone na alam po natin nagkasakit, nag-isolate na po, kumbaga tapos na yung COVID niya, ganon, bakit nag-positive uli? 'Di ba? Marami nagtatanong ng ganon eh. Ang ano doon is, a person can remain positive for up to 6 months and even longer. Pero, yung napapositive po doon ay hindi na po yung COVID na nakakahawa. Ito po yung COVID na pinatay ng katawan nyo, na yung mga remnants or mga small bits ay nasa katawan nyo po. Because the test is so magaling and so sensitive na pick up po nila yon. So does that mean po that you have COVID again? No, it means po that the test picked up the dead COVID or the remnants po ng COVID sa inyong katawan. Okay? So, kasi maraming ganito na positive, like yung brother ni Dr. June, na positive sa sa Austria. Austria ba, no? Geneva, Switzerland, okay? And then, after 2 months, gumaling na, no? After 2 months, bumalik sa Pilipinas, sa airport, nag-positive. So, ang tanong, dapat ba siyang i-quarantine? Actually, the answer is no. Kasi, ang ano doon is remnants po of dead COVID. So, pag nangyari po yun sa inyo, please contact the lab. Pag mag-uusap po sila ng doktor nyo, kung ano, kasi there is a technical way to find out kung buhay ba o patay po yung COVID na na-pick up sa inyo. Okay, the second question. When can they get vaccinated? Dati po, no, matagal. Pero ngayon po, sinasabi po ng DOH, as long as tapos na po yung 14-day quarantine and you are feeling okay, pwedeng-pwede na pong magpabakuna. Okay, so I hope I answered the 2 questions. What do you think? Ma'am, tama ba yun? I mean, yun ba yung tinatanong nyo? I hope it's okay. Ikaw, Reina, what do you think? Did I answer the question properly?
Yes. Opo. Actually, mas malinaw po, Doktora.
Oo.
Iwanan.
It is possible kasi marami nagtatanong, bakit negative na ako? Tapos biglang, I have to travel somewhere and then ganon, then a testing, then biglang positive. So wag po kayo magpanic. That does not mean that you got, di ba sabi ni ma'am, walang nararamdaman. Nangyayari talaga yun. 6 months pa, pwede po kayo mag-positive. Okay? But again, I'd like to reassure, hindi na po nakakahawa yung tao. Okay?
Ayan, very malinaw na po. Hindi na po nakakahawa.
Oo, don't panic. At saka, pwede na pong mapabakunahan yung tao after 14 days and as long as they feel well. Thank you for that question. I hope I answered it talaga. Okay?
From Miss
Thanks, ma'am. And I'm hoping si Hipag is okay.
From Miss May Guarin Ellie, hello po, Doktora. Ask ko lang po, if nag-first vaccine po ng Moderna at after a week ay nag-positive sa COVID, pero hindi na po umabot sa second dose dahil hindi pa daw po pwede. Kailan ang best time for second dose? Ang ganda ng question.
The best time, bakit hindi pa po pwede? May nararamdaman pa po ba yung pasyente? If that is the case, talagang rest muna. Kasi ayaw po natin na mahawa yung mga tao dun sa vaccination site. Usually maraming tao po eh. So, ang best advice ko po dun sa taong nagka-Moderna, then got sick, palipasin po yung 14 days, make sure that you're totally okay, and then you can have your second dose po of Moderna. So, thank you. Parang, similar din siya dun sa tanong ni Kapitana.
Yes, okay, next po. From Miss Leoncia Garcia. Doktora, good pa. Okay. Ask ko lang po, masakit po ang tagiliran ko, kabandang kaliwa po. 3 days na po ako di dumudumi. Related po ba ang sakit na yon sa di ko pagdudumi? Doktora, tanong ko lang po, ano pong magandang inumin na gamot para mawala po yung sakit? Salamat po. Leo
Ma'am,
Garcia.
this question is impossible to answer. I'm sorry. Kasi po, first of all, puntahan natin, sakit po sa tagiliran, I don't even know kung likod, harap, tabi. So, impossible pong sagutin yon. Second question, yung 3 araw pong hindi nagdumi. A good question would be, how often should one go to the bathroom para dumumi? My answer to that is, it depends po on the person. Meron pong mga tao araw-araw. Meron mga tao po every other day. At may mga tao pong every 3 days. Kung ganun na po kayo talaga since the time you were born, wag na po nating baguhin yon. And if it's working for you. My best advice for these kinds of people kung nahihirapan pong dumumi is to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Ngayon po, kung mag-persist po yung sakit sa tagiliran nyo, telemedicine po talaga yung best suggestion ko po sa inyo. Okay? I hope I answered the question. I really cannot, ayoko kung mag-guess na, I don't even know kung kanan o kaliwa yung tagiliran. So, ibang issue po talaga. Mahirap. Opo. My best advice po is, kung normal naman ho ka sa inyong dumami, kasi what if you have colon cancer? What if you have IBD? What if you have, andami? So, it's impossible po to answer. My best advice na lang po is the history. Kung talaga pong 3 araw naman po kayong dumudumi, then there's nothing wrong with that. Pero kung hindi naman po, best to eat lots of fruits and vegetables and have yourself consulted. Nako, natapos na yung nagkayak. Ba't basang-basa ka? Ay, nako. I have a 9-year-old na mahilig pong magkayak. Thank you, Kapitan Mighty, for the kayaks.
Yuhu! Okay. From one of our YouTube viewers, guys, please follow our YouTube channel, Dr. Anna York Bondoc. From Mr. Raymond Alan Sese. Doktora, dahil po sa mga videos ninyo, madami pong na-convince na magpa-vaccine. One of my tito po nag-positive just after ma-vaccine. Kahit papano po may panlaban on his way na po na maging okay ngayon. More power.
Oh, thank God. Oo, thank you for sharing this, yun nga po talaga eh. After the first dose, at the most you will reach 73% eh. So talagang that's why we need the second dose para we reach the 90+%. Pero again, mas mabuti pa rin ho yung 73% kesa sa 0%, di po ba? And actually po, sa United Kingdom, during the surge po last August, yung kanila pong policy was not to give 2 doses kaagad. Their policy was to vaccinate the entire UK with 1 dose and humabol na lang si second dose. So that's actually a valid strategy. So I'm happy po na your uncle is recovered and I'm hoping na after 14 days and after 3 days po na okay na po, pwede na po siyang mabakunahan ng pangalawang dose. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, nakatulong po yung kahit isang dose ng bakuna.
That's the same reason bakit hindi ko maintindihan, Doktora, anong nakukuha ng mga anti-vaxxers sa pag-convince
wala talagang, ito lang and this is a very interesting statement na binigay ko. Kasi I had a conversation with my classmates who are doctors in the US. Sabi nila, mahirap daw. They're trying not to be bitter or angry sa mga anti-vaxxers. Pero talagang hirap na hirap ba daw sila kasi yung ICU nila puno daw ng mga anti-vaxxers or yung mga hindi bakunado. So, they try to be sympathetic pero kuminsan daw nakakagalit na talaga. Eto lang Reyna, despite the bad situation in the Philippines, I still feel that we are better off than the US. Kasi yung problema natin sa Pilipinas is pera and bakuna. Once we get enough money, once we buy enough bakuna, we can solve the problem. Pero sa US, ang dami ng bakuna doon, pero ayaw nila magpabakuna. So, hindi pera yung problema nila and mahirap solusyonan pag hindi na pera ang problema.
That's a very, 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 very good statement, Doktora. I hope...
And medyo sad. Ganon. Medyo sad.
Oo. Yeah.
Kasi kung imagine, nandun na yung bakuna, nandun na sa lahat ng drugstore, ayaw pa nila magpabakuna. Ang hirap. Baka hindi ko makayanan yon. And as my classmate said, it's hard not to be bitter or angry. Kaya lang they need to do that kung hindi mental health din po nila. Okay? So I think we're last two questions. Paubos na yung oras natin.
At si Benji ay basang-basa na. From Miss Amalia Santiago, Doktor, ano po na best vitamins para sa nanay ko na 82 years old para maganda ang tulog paggabi? Salamat po.
Parang, is there something na we equate vitamins with sleeping? Wala namang sleepy vitamin eh. Meron ba? Or am I missing something?
Wala naman, Doc. Doc, baka
Oo.
gusto nilang panoorin yung dati nating video regarding tulog, di ba? We had that.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Oh,
You know what? Ito lang yung ano ko. Ah, ito yung, and I don't believe in melatonin or any other stuff, ano. For your mom who's 82 years old, first examine her diet. Is she eating well or not? Kung hindi siya nag-eat well, siguro, the first thing to do would be to fix her foods. Have a conversation, ano ba gusto niyang kainin, false teeth, maybe they can't chew well. So, talagang ako, I would, before I resort to medicines, I resort muna to fixing the food. Ayusin po yung pagkain po na kinakain ng inyong mommy. Okay, number 2, is mommy active? Kasi, sometimes, ito pa ha, uh, during the pandemic, people haven't been as active. So, parang they're not walking. Parang hindi sila napapagod. Nakuha mo yun? So, if you could exercise kahit walking lang or what, kung bakunado na rin si mommy, I would suggest, kasi pag pinagod mo yung isang tao, anyone, kids, adults, or exercise really makes a person sleep at night kasi napapagod yan eh. And thirdly, wala naman pong masama to one multivitamin a day. Okay? That's my best advice for mommy. And then of course, may video po ako on how to sleep well at night. Marami yun eh, including fixing the beds, fixing the time, fixing po the temperature. So, yun po yun. Eto pa. If you want vitamins, eliminate the coffee. If your mom drinks coffee at night, naku, Diyos ko, eliminate that. Coffee, tea, and soft drinks. Caffeine po ang meron nun.
Last question from Ms. Arlene Guevara Gonzalez. Pwede daw po ba, doktora, na pavaksin yung may plema sa lalamunan, pero di naman inuubo?
Are you sure that person does not have COVID? Yun lang. I-evaluate nyo po. Talagang hirap po. Ito lang honestly, baka maraming na-offend kasi tinatanong ko. Ang hirap talaga. I had this talk na how can you tell between trangkaso, flu, and COVID? You can't eh. So you can't isolate talaga. Ang advice ko talaga for people na may chronic cough, chronic i-treat nyo na po yan. Kasi po, you cannot enter your job. You cannot enter. Kasi ang unang tanong may phlegma ba? If you check, yes, diretsong uwi po yun. Baka ma-isolate pa kayo. So, no, you cannot be vaccinated po. You need to stay at home. And then treat that. And once it's okay, then go out and get vaccinated po. Okay? Ang hirap po. I'm not here to tell you na maraming naiiyak sa sinasabi ko. Ako mismo naiiyak. But it's really very difficult time po talaga. Okay,
Hi,
I'm sorry
yes,
to tell you that. I'm really sorry.
That's all, Doktora. We just like to remind everyone na mag-ingat po dahil 20,000 plus na naman tayo.
Oh, yes
And may
talaga.
mga
Magpabakuna
kids
na po pag tinatawag.
Ang sad,
Okay.
Doktora, may mga babies na natatamaan. So, sad talaga.
Sad. Okay? To everyone, stay safe, healthy, and mentally positive, okay? Salamat po.